of Commerce scored a big get with their keynote speaker. It is Governor Rick Scott himself. Hear what he has to say coming up on ABC Action News at noon.
Plus, the man police say beat up a local store clerk is behind bars this afternoon. Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us. I'm Dee O'Reilly.
And I'm Dan Schaefer. We begin this half hour with the governor's visit to the Bay Area. Governor Rick Scott is the keynote speaker at the annual St. Petersburg Chamber of Commerce meeting. Brendan McLaughlin is there live. And so what is the governor saying this afternoon, Brendan?
Well, Danny, just started speaking right now. Excuse the pun, but this is very friendly turf for this governor in front of the Chamber of Commerce. They like pretty much everything he's had to say up until now, from his plan to eventually phase out the corporate income tax to bringing back the Department of Commerce in Tallahassee, an agency that was phased out 15 years ago, to, of course, his pledge to create some 700,000 private sector jobs. There's some skepticism, of course, that he can do this in the face of a huge $3.5 billion budget deficit that this state faces, but they're here and they're anxious to listen, and let's listen ourselves for a minute to what the governor has to say.
About a year and a half ago, I had sponsored an individual to come over from Britain to talk about health care reform, because I'd been real active in health care reform before I ran for governor. And he said when he ran, he was member of parliament, when he ran for re-election, his opponents started saying that his name was Daniel Hannan. He said, you know, Daniel's never sponsored one bill. And so Daniel thought about it, and he started running the same ad, because he says, I've never found a bill I liked. But if you think about our attitude about people that we elect, we expect them to go pass laws, pass regulation, do things. But then in the next breath, we stop and think, what regulation, what law do we really like? And there's some that we need, but there's a lot that just ultimately kill jobs. And so one of my primary jobs is to make sure at the state level we don't have new regulation that is killing jobs. And that's what I'm focused on.
All right. Governor Rick Scott touching on his familiar themes of deregulation, litigation, and taxation as the issues that he needs to address to get the economy kick-started here. It's kind of interesting to note that 4 years ago, Governor Charlie Crist was making the keynote speech in front of this very same audience. Now, back then, 4 years ago, his approval rating was 70%. A Quinnipiac poll that came out yesterday shows that Governor Rick Scott enjoys a 35% approval rating thus far in his term, about half that. So there's a lot of room to make up in terms of the wider audience of Florida as to this governor. I will tell you, though, there is one issue where this governor and this Chamber of Commerce may divide sharply. I'll talk about that with you tonight on ABC Action News at 5:30. So live from Tropicana Field, I'm Brendan McLaughlin. Back to you.